As the Drew Barrymore Show returned from commercial break, the audience was still in stunned silence. Drew, sitting alone on the couch, adjusted her posture and tried to regain her composure. Her signature warmth had faded into something more serious, her smile thin, her voice quieter. "Well, that was unexpected," she said, chuckling nervously. The audience gave a few scattered claps and murmurs, unsure how to respond. Drew wasn't used to moments like this, on-air drama, emotional tension, or guests storming off live. Her show was built on laughter, healing, joy, and heart. This was something else. Backstage, Keanu's exit had triggered a frenzy. Producers rushed to rework the show's remaining segments. Interns were wiping down the guest chair as if erasing the tension that lingered in the air. Paparazzi had already been alerted. Word travels fast when a megastar walks out of a taping mid-show. Outside, Keanu's SUV sat idling, driver ready. He stepped in calmly, avoiding eye contact with the cameras. From the outside, he looked composed. Inside, he was fuming, not from anger, but from betrayal. He hadn't expected Drew, of all people, to corner him like that. He admired her honesty, her authenticity. But to bring up that viral clip without warning, to question his boundaries in front of a live audience, it felt like a trap. In the car, his assistant leaned forward. "Do you want me to cancel Fallon and Colbert for tomorrow?" Keanu nodded once. "Cancel them all." Back at the studio, Drew was facing the difficult task of salvaging the show, and her image. Once taping ended, she met privately with her executive producer, visibly upset. "I didn't mean to offend him," she said. "It was supposed to be a conversation, not a confrontation." Her producer sighed. "It didn't sound like an attack, Drew. But people are going to twist it either way." By the end of the day, social media was already ablaze with reactions. Some fans blamed Drew for pushing too hard, calling her out for shaming someone who clearly valued his privacy. Others sided with her, claiming Keanu was overly sensitive, even dramatic, for walking out. One tweet went viral within hours. "Greater than, Drew Barrymore, the kindest woman on daytime TV, just got iced by Keanu Reeves. What is even happening in 2025? Another wrote, "Greater than, Keanu's not wrong, fame isn't consent. He handled it like a king." Hashtag Keanu storms off. Clips from the segment circulated online with captions like, "The moment it all went south. Keanu's face when Drew crossed the line. Talk show meltdown of the year." Fans began choosing sides, hashtags trended for hours. Even celebrities weighed in, some cryptically, others not so much. A tweet from Rosario Dawson read simply, "Boundaries are sacred, even under the spotlight." By the next morning, the full unedited clip had been leaked by someone in the audience, showing the entire exchange with no cuts. People watched it frame by frame, dissecting Keanu's tone, Drew's body language, and the exact moment it all unraveled. Hollywood hadn't seen a daytime moment this explosive since Tom Cruise jumped on Oprah's couch, but this was different. This wasn't overexcitement. This was personal. Both stars remained silent in the immediate aftermath. No interviews, no posts, just a shared silence between two public figures who had collided under the weight of fame, privacy, and very different worldviews. What started as a celebration of kindness had become an unfiltered look into the tension between public persona and private identity. And whether fans were ready for it or not, they had just witnessed the day Keanu Reeves, Hollywood's most famously unshakable man, finally walked away from the spotlight. The buzz around Keanu Reeves' unexpected walk-off from the Drew Barrymore Show wasn't fading, it was exploding. By the morning after the taping, clips of the incident had saturated every platform. Edited montages were already trending on YouTube. Fan accounts speculated on Reddit threads. TikTokers dissected every pause, every facial twitch, every word exchanged between the two stars as if decoding a national scandal. Drew Barrymore, typically known for her vulnerability and poise, had awoken to a world divided. Her team had advised her to lay low and let it blow over, but that wasn't her style. By mid-afternoon, she recorded a short, 3-minute video from her living room, no makeup, just a sweater and a mug of tea in her hands. "I want to address something," she began, visibly emotional but composed. "Yesterday, something happened on my show that wasn't planned. I had a conversation with someone I deeply respect, and it didn't go the way I imagined. I've always believed in asking real questions, but I also believe in listening, and maybe I didn't do enough of that yesterday. I never wanted Keanu to feel cornered or disrespected. I wanted to understand." It was a soft, almost apologetic statement, and while it calmed some of the backlash, it did little to slow the story's momentum. Meanwhile, Keanu had left Los Angeles entirely. Sources claimed he had flown to Maui, opting for a brief escape at a secluded estate owned by a longtime friend. No press, no statements, just the sound of waves, the scent of salt air, and the company of silence. For him, walking off wasn't a stunt, it was a necessary act of self-preservation. He hadn't shouted, he hadn't caused chaos, but the sheer act of standing up mid-conversation and walking out spoke louder than words. For decades, Keanu had navigated Hollywood without a hint of scandal. He endured tragedies, remained fiercely private, and often went viral for the good kind of reasons, offering his seat to strangers, donating quietly, living simply. So when someone like him broke the unspoken rules of celebrity media, it wasn't just news, it was shock. Entertainment outlets flooded with op-eds and hot takes. Variety published a piece titled, "When Kindness Collides, What the Keanu Drew Fallout Says About Celebrity Culture." Rolling Stone ran a headline that read, "Even Keanu has a breaking point, and maybe that's the lesson." Behind the scenes, daytime television executives scrambled. Other shows reconsidered their interview formats. Producers debated how much real talk was too real. One insider revealed that Keanu's team sent a list of new interview conditions to future networks, including no discussions about his privacy, no viral incident references, and pre-approval of all personal questions. It was a quiet crackdown from one of Hollywood's quietest men. But the drama didn't stay quiet for long. 2 weeks later, the Drew Barrymore Show aired a special pre-recorded episode titled, "Boundaries and Fame, Where Do We Draw the Line?" Drew opened the show solo, addressing the elephant in the room. "I've been thinking a lot about what happened with Keanu," she said softly, seated on a couch without the usual live audience. "It's made me reflect on the questions we ask, the answers we expect, and how much we really understand the people we admire." She then introduced a panel of psychologists, media critics, and even a former celebrity publicist to dive into the subject. The episode became an unexpected hit, not because of ratings, but because of its honesty. Drew didn't drag Keanu. She didn't play the victim. She leaned into the moment with the kind of raw vulnerability that reminded fans why they loved her in the first place. Still, the conversation around Keanu didn't disappear. His fans, fiercely loyal, rallied online with even more intensity. They began a movement dubbed #LetKeanuBe, promoting celebrity mental health and privacy advocacy. Fan art emerged, paintings, animations, even comic strips showing Keanu walking away from a storm of flashing cameras with the caption, "Peace over performance." Meanwhile, brands jumped in, because of course they did. A mental wellness app offered Keanu a multi-million-dollar sponsorship deal to become their spokesperson. He declined, but the whispers didn't stop. Rumors spread that Keanu had pulled out of another major talk show appearance on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. Anonymous insiders said Colbert's producers had promised a drama-free conversation, only for Keanu to back out last minute, still raw from the Drew Barrymore incident. "He's just done," a source said. "For now, at least. He doesn't want to be seen. He just wants to be." And Drew, despite the online noise, she kept going. She didn't run from the headlines. She didn't hide. In fact, she quietly reached out to Keanu a second time, this time through a handwritten letter delivered by a mutual friend. In it, she reportedly wrote, "Greater than, you didn't owe me your story, and I didn't mean to ask for it that way. But you walking away, it taught me something. Thank you for being real, even when it was hard." No response came, but insiders say Keanu kept the letter. Eventually, as the story began to fade from daily trending topics, something remarkable happened. People started reflecting. Not just on the incident, but on the broader culture it highlighted. Why do we expect celebrities to be open books? Why do we feel betrayed when they aren't? What are the invisible lines between access and intrusion? Keanu's walk-off became more than a viral moment, it became a cultural reset. Talk shows became a little gentler. Fans became a little more cautious before shoving cameras in faces. And somewhere along the way, the narrative shifted from, Keanu snapped, to, Keanu protected his peace. In the final chapter of the saga, Keanu made a quiet return to public life. He didn't do another talk show. He didn't sit down for a tell-all. But he appeared at a children's hospital fundraiser, smiling and signing autographs, no selfies, just moments. He posed for a group photo with nurses and doctors, shaking hands and thanking them for their work. When asked about the Barrymore incident by a well-meaning reporter, he gave only a small smile and said, "That was just one day. Life goes on." And that was it. No drama, no clapbacks, just Keanu being Keanu, graceful, grounded, and unwilling to compromise who he is. As for Drew, she ended the season of her show with a quiet reflection. I've learned that sometimes the most honest moments don't happen with words. They happen in silence, in exits, in lessons you don't see coming. The cameras faded to black.